So what is energy healing?
Sorry, I was just trying to catch a fly. Sorry, what did you ask?
So for a lot of people, energy healing is simply just to dissipate negative energy, to bring you back to positive vibration, and to basically address trauma that is, let's call it, centered around emotional and mental.
Yeah, and other people might call energy healing grown men pretending they are Jedi Knights. I really have lost my patience with the human race. Last week, we looked at people that pointed metal pipes at clouds thinking they were weather wizards.
I pour water in the copper pipe, I let it pool right here, and what you're going to notice is above me, completely clear. That's the magic of a cloudbuster.
And these people actually walk among us. But don't worry, they usually make themselves known. They do have little tells. For example, they may scream out in fear every time they blink because they don't know where the world has gone or something like that. You'll notice them eventually. But when it comes to weather wizards, at least there's some good that comes from going outside, taking in some fresh air, even if you are pointing copper pipes at clouds. But when it comes to energy healing, it all becomes a lot more sinister. But I will point out that Reiki healing has been shown scientifically to be better than useless in certain circumstances. Those people who truly believe in the power of Reiki can become incredibly relaxed during a Reiki session. They can leave a Reiki session feeling a lot more positive about themselves. They can be in a far better mental state. And people who've been diagnosed with serious conditions can then cope with those conditions better due to this improved mental state. It is a classy placebo, I would say. But in my experience, those people who involve themselves in various types of energy healing aren't really interested in what the scientific literature actually says, like a flat earther or a young earth creationist. They just want to live in a world which is magical and anything goes. And with energy healers, it quite often makes some people say really dangerous things like this.
If you learn these three things, you can heal your body of absolutely anything. And I do mean anything.
Well, clearly, it hasn't healed him of his enormous stupidity. But let's just take a minute to sit back and relax and see what actually happens in a normal, I say normal, energy healing session. We start with diagnosing the problem.
Okay, what's going on? So I'm just going to do a treating. Oh, okay, bottom diamond's out.
Now that is very serious indeed. His bottom diamond is out. And if you don't know how serious that is, it can cause you a lot of problems. In fact, I believe if you get your bottom diamond out in some countries, you can even get arrested. So it needs shoving in as quickly as possible, as does his spiritual body from the astral plane, of course.
That'll be his astral body. So it's going to bring his astral body back in. His astral body back in. Just.
That is amazing, and I've got to wonder how long it took him to learn to put his arms out like that. Training to be an energy healer or a Reiki master must be a very, very expensive and long-term process. But there are ways you can cut corners. For example, every energy healer needs equipment, like maybe an ancient silver bucket with a violet flame. Now, they can be very expensive, but in the world of energy healing, you can save a lot of money if you just imagine that you have one.
My ancient silver bucket, violet flame.
So now you've popped his astral body back in and you've played with your imaginary bucket, it is time to sort out his bottom diamond. But don't worry, I can show you that clip. It's not as R-rated as it sounds. Here it is.
Okay, let's do the diamond.
So we're almost there. We've shoved his astral body back in. We've played with his bottom diamond, which isn't as rude as it sounds. And we've also taken a look at our imaginary ancient silver bucket. But now we have to take care of the fragrance of the room. It does turn out that the patient, called Seth, is a bit of an athlete. And I can only wonder from this next clip if he's come into this session after a bit of training without taking a shower.
And Seth does weight training and bodybuilding as well.
Now, from what I can gather from that video, all is now well. Seth's bottom diamond has been reinserted and is completely out of sight. And I'm sure when he left that session, he felt relaxed, he felt happy, and he felt like he's benefited from it. Ultimately, no harm is done to him. Whether you believe that any benefit was done to him or not is a different matter. He's walked away fine, but not everybody walks away from alternative or complementary therapies. Unfortunately, when you truly believe in the power of these wacky ideas, the harm that can happen is unlimited. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, these guys here have forgotten how to clap. And this guy here is trying to teach them, but he doesn't know either. And instead of getting better at clapping, somehow this guy's getting worse. But if you are thinking that, you would be wrong. The man you see on screen is Dr. Claptastic, or his real name is Hongqi Chow, and I do believe I've probably pronounced that wrong. Apologies. He believes in something called slapping therapy, and basically that's when people who are utter morons do things like this to improve their health.
Okay, so here we go. So we'll start, I always start at the back, and then I come forward, and then I'll clap on top. See how this works so easy? It'd be a lot harder to do it with the hand. And then I'm gonna come over to the side, and then I'm gonna bend over, and then I'm gonna do here on the other side. And then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna clap the back of the foot. Now understand something, when I do one foot, it's 15 to 20 minutes.
Now I have to report that Hongqi Chow is still teaching his slapping therapy, but he's teaching it from inside prison because last year he took a retreat, a slapping therapy retreat, and one of the clients at his retreat was a diabetic 71-year-old lady who stopped taking her insulin because she believed so much in the power of slapping therapy, and Hongqi Chow commended her for not taking her insulin and encouraged her in the belief that this slapping therapy will cure her diabetes. Now, how can I put this? Got to be sensitive about it, but that poor lady never left the retreat. I'm sure you will know what I mean by that. And Hongqi Chow is now spending some well-deserved time behind bars. And that really puts things into perspective when you see people, idiots like this, spouting nonsense like this on social media.
If you learn these 3 things, you can heal your body of absolutely anything. And I do mean anything.
Anyway, before we get back to that, let's lighten things up for a second. How does energy healing work? Well, obviously it doesn't. But if you want to make somebody believe it does, in your explanation, use the word energies, use the word frequencies, maybe harmony and resonance, and put them all together in a whole bunch of word salad that doesn't mean anything. And then any old gullible idiot will think you know what you're talking about. Here's just one example.
When Helen begins the Reiki session, she intentionally connects to universal life force energy in its purest form. Helen's energy system then conducts, she's a conductor of the frequency of this pure life force energy. And according to the principle of energetic resonance, what's really happening is Jessica's disrupted energy, affected by that stress and anxiety, will naturally begin to align with the balanced energy that Helen has introduced to her energy system. Now, this phenomenon is similar to how 2 musical instruments that are playing near each other will influence each other's vibrations.
Anyway, if you want to save yourself thousands of pounds in university fees and years of study at medical school, and you just want to jump to boss level, being the best healer in the world, then all you've got to do is learn for free how to put your hand in a... It's very complicated, but I can't do it yet, but we're going to learn it from this guy.
I am an energy healer, a quantum architect, and I wanted to show you guys a technique that I use for treating pain.
Yeah, this guy's a quantum architect, which is totally not a made-up job. And he's going to show us how we can skip all that medical training and just become amazing healers in an instant.
Take your fingertips, generally in your right hand, so your giving hand. You can do a test with your hands to see which one is your giving and which is your receiving, which one is your electric and which one's your magnetic hand. The hand that feels heavier is likely your receiving hand. Take your fingertips and put them all into one little point. So you take those fingertips, so it's like all pointing into one. You don't have to be perfect or anything, but you just want to get it. So all of those fingertip chakras are all pointing in the same spot.
Okay, so to be a real doctor, we have to know all about the human body, all about the different various conditions that it can suffer from and how various drugs interact. It's a whole lot of information, but to be a quantum healer, we need to know the difference between our left hand and our right hand, and we need to have all our fingers still so we can do that. But now we've reached this level of expertise, what can I do with this?
So you take this and then you just plug it into a spot. Say this dude's got pain right here. We just plug into that spot, and a lot of times they're going to be aligned with these like meridian points, acupoints and stuff. Not that it matters, you don't have to know any of that stuff. Just stick it in where it feels right and then just sit there. I like to open my heart also, so if once you've got it on the spot, you can just relax and just place your awareness in your heart and just imagine just welling up in love, think happy thoughts, Peter Pan it.
Right, so you just stick it where it feels right. I would advise you though, please don't go and stick it in the bottom diamond. Could get messy. That reminds me, how is that guy from earlier getting on?
It's a bit like being in the mother's womb again.
I'll admit that confuses me, unless he had a drum when he was in his mother's womb. Now maybe you're desperate to spend around £30 a session to receive some of this Reiki magic healing, but unfortunately you're just far too busy and you can never find the time to get to a Reiki healing centre. But don't worry, because a lot of Reiki healing centres, such as this one just down the road from me, engage in something called absent healing. Basically, all you've got to do is email your problems to them, and then while you're not there and you're busy at work, they'll fanny around doing stupid shit that you're totally unaware of, and that is equally effective and powerful, apparently, as you being in the room with them. Except, obviously, you miss out on laughing at what they're doing. Anyway, let's get back to Ned Sheeran.
If you learn these 3 things, you can heal your body of absolutely anything. And I do mean anything. There's 3 key principles when you're trying to heal any kind of disease.
So the first 2 tips he offers up are detoxing and keeping a healthy gut. Now, they're not necessarily bad things, but I do doubt their ability to fix your cystic fibrosis. And here is his 3rd tip.
Third and most important part, you've got to get control of your nervous system. You've got to regulate your nervous system. A dysregulated nervous system is one of the main causes of 90% of diseases. Stress destroys your nervous system. And if you're in a constant state of stress, your nervous system is not going to work. And your nervous system controls everything else in your body. So you've got to make sure and do that. And one of the things that I've been working on lately is Qigong. Qigong is absolutely phenomenal.
Qigong. For cystic fibrosis, for Parkinson's, for Alzheimer's, for AIDS. I don't think it's going to be effective in any of those areas, but let's take a look at it anyway. Now, I'm not going to dunk on Qigong as a way of helping keep yourself fit as you get into your latter years. It's certainly not something a prime athlete would consider to keep themselves in top shape. But if you're aging and you've got creaky joints, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Give it a go. But I would advise Ned Sheeran here to perhaps change his stance on his belief that he has 3 key principles that will heal his body from any disease, especially when the most important one of those principles is Qigong. Now, whatever your feeling on energy healing is, the NHS seems to take it far more seriously, with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds being spent on offering such treatments on the NHS itself. Now, if these treatments are being offered for mental health reasons, then perhaps I could understand it, but I am led to believe that that is not always the case, and I am deep in research for a follow-up video to expose some shenanigans that are going on there. That is not ready just yet, but hopefully in the next few weeks. So what have we learned in today's video? Well, we've learned that if your bottom diamond is out, you need to put it back in as fast as possible. A good way to do it is to put your hand like that and just push and feel like Peter Pan, apparently. We've learned that ancient silver buckets don't need to be expensive if you just imagine they exist. We've learned that if you believe that you can cure disease by slapping people, then you probably deserve a slap. And we've learned that Ned Sheeran's next album is probably going to be a little bit of a letdown. I will be back with you on Thursday night with possibly a controversial stream, we will see, and then next weekend with a video. Anyway, bye.